2023 marks 12 years for the Yuułuʔił̱ath Government Yuułuʔił̱ath First Nation as a self-governing modern treaty nation under the Manaulth First Nations. Operating with a government-to-government relationship with Canada and the province of British Columbia, 2023 marks the end of a third legislative term. This term's executive leadership endured the onslaught of an unknown pandemic, including 2 years of community uncertainty and navigation. Through the pressure of a continuously changing tide, the Yuułuʔił̱ath government was able to introduce over a dozen new acts and amendments, build a successful health department, welcome home cultural artifacts, work towards the housing plan, and so much more. Hear what the Yuułuʔił̱ath government executive leaders have to say.
First few months of my term were quite normal. The new legislature members and then getting familiar, we sort of evolved into virtual meetings. That transition was quite challenging. We had actually no really one-on-one contact with a lot of our citizens. We implemented restrictions within Hitatsu to not have the general flow of the public coming and going on our private lands. Over that period of time, I mean, we did still work on a number of our acts, and we restricted even our own citizens away from home here that weren't allowed within the community. It's been about close to 2 years now since we've purchased the building in Port Alberni to create a satellite office opportunity for our citizens to come share coffee. Any kind of service that we have here at Hitatsu, we're looking at to bring in those to Port Alberni on to engage our urban citizens on their level and have them share coffee, have a meal, and then at the same time have our reach out to the citizens that don't have the ability to engage. You know, without having any kind of dialogue, we don't actually know where and what the basic needs are from them.
Renovations and improvements to the offices in the main community hall are done. We are going to be looking at redoing the kitchen so we can offer in-house meals to citizens who live in that area. But the plans are to basically create a satellite version of what we offer here. Issuing harvest cards, maybe providing some nursing support or advice. Having the community psychologist visit there.
For us to have our own facility where we can have our Christmas dinners and our gatherings and all of those things, I think is going to be a really great community builder in that region as well.
So the Huputu Center, now referred to as the Huputu Health Center, has a number of health and social services that include the weekly doctor's visits, a 2-staffed nursing team, a physiotherapist, the community psychologist, as well as a fully functioning education department. So we have a full-time manager of education services that oversees the post-secondary, elementary, and high school programs, as well as a learning facilitator to help our K-12 students, mostly the elementary, catch up. Having Dr. Marshall here once a week, I understand now there are waiting lists. People are responding to booking appointments there regularly. As well, having the nursing team full-time in the community, I think, proves beneficial for a lot of our elders and those who require home care services. To have everybody still on staff and sticking with the YG is a benefit, I think, not only as an organization, but to the community.
When I first got into office, it was one of my many wishes of the community services to establish a fully functional medical clinic within our community here, where it will enable the citizens to seek different types of medical professions. We've got multiple counseling services, a general practitioner, Dr. Marshall, a psychologist, Dr. Ted Alter, and we also have 2 full-time nurses on staff, an optometry clinic. We're in the midst of getting a dental clinic established, basically a one-stop shop for our citizens to seek medical attention in the community here. And it's been a huge success. We're trying to establish a pharmacy with over-the-counter drugs, working with the BC Pharmacy Association in establishing that as well. We have a community outreach worker now in our community, which is a really good thing for our citizens that are suffering from, mental health addictions. We hired Kimberly Tucci, and I'm just ecstatic to have her on staff.
On the economic development portion of the government, we've looked at a number of different options on where we're going. We're looking at potential development of Lot 463 on market housing. We have to build it to attract people and build an economy. We chose to build up our assets in the community, bringing things up to a standard. And then on the second phase, we do have rapid housing, which might be 8 units. And in the meantime, we still have one that's in the process of close to lockup stage now, which is a triplex. I think one of the things that I did run on was a housing and ability for our citizens to be able to purchase their own homes. We do have a policy that implementing here in the next month, where we're just finalizing a couple of things, which would allow our citizens to have access to funds from that program. Our nation, Yuułuʔił̱ath, would contribute $25,000 to the purchase of that home. I look at it as it's opportunity. Not everybody wants to live in a government home or pay rent for the rest of their life. I think the opportunity should be there if a person wants to build their own home. This took about 3 years of negotiations to get to where we are today, to have planned for the next 3 to 4 years up to 2027. They're opening up a quarry so we can actually do some expansions on our lands here at Hitatsu, where we're going to develop a modular home park, which will be able to accommodate 12 mobile homes. And then we have another 10 lots that will be available by Hitatsu Lake. We have potentially $28 million in funding that's pretty secured to build up to 41 houses up until 2027. So that'll make a big difference in the amount of people that we can bring back home, and I think people will be, at the end of 2027, will be impressed at where we have come and where we're going.
Some of the highlights for me were the gap repair program. So over the last couple of years, seeing all of the improvements into community housing has been a really great highlight for myself. And even things as little as heat pumps going in. These heat pumps will assist citizens in helping better conserve energy, but also to lower utility bills. So that's going to be a win-win for citizens as well. And then just looking at the technical team and the negotiations that they've been able to do at various tables for infrastructure and housing funding. This money is going to help us drastically improve our situation in a rather short period of time. I think with the addition of new housing initiatives over the next 5 to 6 years, that will drastically improve the quality of life in Hitatsu. We've added additional funding programs in our budgets to assist those entrepreneur-minded people and people that own businesses or that want to learn how to develop their own business. So I think that there's a lot of really great resources that we've been able to allocate internally, both financially, but also through our economic development office.
There's a lot of things that happened, with the past 4 years, like with the returning of the house posts, language classes. There's also been like the Warriors program, and I'm always bragging about how wonderful the department is and trying to downplay it because I don't want anyone to steal you. We're doing in-person classes, but due to COVID, it moved to online. So we were able to connect with a lot of citizens that live away from home, who wanted to connect with their culture, connect with who they are as Indigenous people. It's been really great to be able to connect and have them do language.
Yeah, the mini big house, which was completed in December 2021 with a partnership grant from First People Cultural Council for heritage infrastructure, basically was meeting the needs of the community for cultural meeting places. So it's a community space that is available to all citizens for drumming practice, for translating groups, for working groups, for workshops. It's just a beautiful space to be in for everyone. The old daycare that we're repurposing to be a cultural museum. Most recently, we've outfitted the trim around the doors and or around the headers to cover up some of the old electrical and plumbing fixtures. So we're trying to make it a beautiful, safe space for these items, these ancestral belongings to live in. A place that is welcoming to everybody from the community to come in and interact with these ancestral belongings. The first negotiations happened during the treaty process. And within the treaty, a portion of the items that were held in museums were negotiated to be formally repatriated to the nation. Within the last 4 years, we have successfully brought those items home. Those are the Schedule A items. Now, each museum also holds multiple Schedule B items, which were to be further negotiated upon. There's 15 additional items that are still being held at the Royal BC Museum in Victoria. Those items, we're looking at doing another custodial agreement or a full repatriation, some way to bring them back so they sit with the rest of the ancestral belongings in Hitatsu. By myself being a younger man and having an attachment to that program, I was joining them as a mentor on their outdoor journeys, on the land healing, and they formally asked for the program to be under my supervision, under the Culture and Heritage Department, which everybody thought that would be a great fit for it. I mean, it feels amazing just to be able to pass on experience and watch young men grow up into older young men that contribute to their community and make their community a healthier space for everybody to be in. Trail building, it started with the Indigenous youth mountain bike program that came to the community to start building a trail from Hitatsu to Hitatsu Lake, and the youth really took to it. From then on, every year there's more initiatives that came up, and some youth in particular really enjoyed it. We kind of stepped into this role as Yuułuʔił̱ath trail builders. In the summer of 2022, we had a successful community-led canoe journey, and we had about 10 Yuułuʔił̱ath members go out for three nights in the territory on a canoe, camping, sharing stories, sharing songs. Everybody's come back inspired to work together, train for the next big one when all the nations come together again.
Still got a lot of work to do. So yeah, there's a lot more to come. I'm hopeful for it. And yeah, culture just encompasses everything that we do. It's work, it's play, it's teaching language in the home, and there's just a lot more to come, I think.
I don't want my kids or anybody of that future government having to go here and try to clarify our position all the time and not be heard. We're either in this together or we're not. And we shouldn't be always having to go there cap in hand. You know, we should be able to have these conversations and move forward in a timely manner rather than always having to try to beat it to death or, you know, have somebody there that's not going to make those decisions. All things said and done, I think we are moving forward, and there is light at the end of the tunnel, regardless of if we had people in forestry or whether we had people in fisheries. We should always, as a nation, have those options if we choose to.